All right, it seems like Bitcoin can't just go in a straight line, guys. Something has to affect the overall crypto space. Well, again, these pullbacks are great for the overall formations for Bitcoin to continue on and upwards, guys. We've been in this uptrend for about 8 weeks. You can see 8 great candles to the upside. So more than anything, a pullback was overdue in terms of the whole crypto space. So we're going to be talking about whether or not this pullback will turn into a complete downtrend for Bitcoin. We're going to take a look at the USDT dominance compared with Bitcoin, whether or not this chart actually gave us the signal to essentially, get it into USDT. A lot of these altcoins moving out and Bitcoin moving out of, in terms of the dollar value into USDT dominance. So we're going to be talking about that, what actually affected this downtrending move. So we're going to be discussing this and why the overall traditional markets are still continuing to the upside while Bitcoin is again in a down coming in a pullback area. So let's go ahead and get started into the video, guys. We don't want to waste more time. If you enjoy this content, definitely give it a thumbs up. So let's go ahead and look into the USDT dominance and talk about this chart that we're looking at for the past week or so. So what we're looking at for the 5-day, we're saying, look, based off of this candle closure, closing below that 200-day EMA, this purple line that you see here, we were basically looking for whether or not this is actually going to be regained in the next week or so. So it looks like it is actually going to be regained, and this is an important level overall because right now, so far, is if we do close in about 4 hours and 17 minutes in this particular 5-day candle for the USDT dominance, more likely is we're going to see the dominance hover up to test the 55-day moving average, again, which comes in at the 7.6 area, 7.6%. And that means that Bitcoin, again, can put an actual downtrend from here, find maybe a little bit of support. So where that could support area can come in, well, we're actually going to be talking about that. Also, I do want to note something is that, look, we can see here on the stochastic as well too, the crossing is going to be occurring on the closure. So more likely is that, traders and investors are taking some profits at this point. More likely looking for a pullback in terms of Bitcoin, as we can see here. So let's jump on to the chart real quick here. So we can see on the weekly, we are again getting rejected at the 706 Fibonacci resistance level at this point, which again, these confluences with great retracement areas around anywhere from 618 to 786. So with that being said, guys, like I said before, look, there's a lot of confluence of resistance in these areas. It's going to take Bitcoin some time to actually get above these areas, right? We're not going to just go in a straight line. We need to build some formation. And, greater pullback isn't the end of the world for Bitcoin to really build some support structure before, further continuation in this bull market, if it deems possible from here in terms of the buyers. But let's just jump onto the lower time frame. So as we can see, guys, we were basically indicating we were looking for, again, Bitcoin to continue to stay above $43,000. And if that was the case, we're going to get another upshot at breaking above 44,000 and looking at targets of $46,000 area. However, that did not actually happen. And what I stated in the previous video is that if we can't hold the $43,000 area, more likely is we're going to come back and retest these areas of 38,200, guys. So there's a lot of confluence of support where, again, the bears can basically push the price all the way down to this particular area, and where Bitcoin really can find a bit of a support in this region. Now, if we were actually to break below, again, this region right here, which I think there is a bit of a confluence of support, again, for, overall, unless any major news comes out. But, you're coming back and retesting, levels of $30,000. Now, I don't want to actually see that. Emotionally, I don't want to actually see that. But again, if the probabilities and statistics are in favor of those strategies, then more likely we will see something like that. But so far, again, as we said, if 43,000 gets broken, more likely we are coming back down to 38,000. Testing that as a key support area. There was also an indication on the 8-hourly. If we look on the MACD indicator, we can see that we're actually putting in lower high, while on price action, you were basically putting in higher high. that basically indicates that there is a regular bearish divergence, meaning a trend change on the 8 and 12 hourly. So we can see the 12 hourly is indicating the same thing as well too, guys. While you're putting in lower highs, the price action is putting in higher high. So again, this was indicating a pullback that was due for Bitcoin overall. It shows here on the MACD data that as long as we're below 44,289 on the 12 hourly, we're going to continue to see downside pressure. On the 8 hourly as well too, as long as we're below 43,800, we're going to continue to see downside pressure in terms of Bitcoin here. So again, what I'm expecting, hovering down to this particular area right here, to this region, finding it as a bit of a support plateau before further continuation overall to the upside. Now, what does it mean for the overall trend for Bitcoin on the daily? Well, as you guys can see here on the daily time frame, again, the 55-day moving average, again, on each closure starts to actually move up. Again, it's a lagging indicator. Keep that into consideration, which is going to be coming in at this support structure in the next day or so, which again, the bears might push us to this key area. The probabilities are in favor of that. So, I expect targets down to that area. Other than that, I mean, in particular, again, more likely some raging action, and we've seen this pattern before, guys. This is not a unfamiliar pattern for Bitcoin. This is just like a a BART pattern, which is very familiar overall for Bitcoin. We go up substantially, and then there is a big washout of liquidations in terms of moving away from those longs and getting the traders essentially wrecked in the wrong side of the market here. So that's basically what we're seeing in terms of that. So what is the reason for this? Well, again, this news actually came out just a couple hours ago. However, once the news essentially broke out, is that the government essentially is looking to crack down in regards to Bitcoin with money laundering and things like that that's happening in terms of digital assets. Which again, what the timing of this? In terms of, again, with where Bitcoin is, seeing 8-week candle closures to the upside, again, it was overdue, guys. It was definitely overdue in terms of that. So while Bitcoin is essentially going down, we're starting to see, again, the NASDAQ essentially rally a bit further here, and we are getting very close to, again, the highs of November of 2021, guys, okay? So the all-time highs for the NASDAQ overall. So interesting to see that's the case. Again, while Bitcoin retraces, NASDAQ continues to essentially go up. Again, it's a substantial move, guys, in terms of Bitcoin. You're coming down, roughly about 8 to 9% overall. What interesting is that when we were looking at strategy 23, guys, is that this short side position didn't play out, right? If you actually took this particular trade right here, you would have been basically stopped out anything above this high, right? Around 44,000. If you were to basically put it up just a little bit, this would have played actually really nicely overall, bringing you, 10%. Well, actually, from where the conditions were met, it would have brought you roughly about 8%. Which, if we look at the data here, which I'll bring really quick here, we can see that data is suggesting, again, 7.43%. But the market essentially took an upside position before actually playing that out. Again, I entered the trade and I essentially, took the short side position, but again, hit my stop loss. So this wasn't on the profitable side for me, but again, interesting things to actually see in this particular strategy overall. Anyways, I'll leave you off with this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, bros, as always, stay profitable.